welcome back to Scott's Winning Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. I am back with my dad today. It is time to start our NFL predictions for this season. Hopefully we get an entire season in this year. Let's hope. But we are going to do our season predictions as if there will be an entire season. So we're going to be doing 2 teams a week, so let's get into these predictions right now. First team up will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming in with a much improved team this year, led by Tom Brady, who a lot of people have been calling the greatest of all time, and I absolutely agree. Let's get into the season right now. First game up, on the road at the New Orleans Saints. I have this game as a loss. I just don't think that we're going to have enough chemistry with the team yet this week, so I'm going to take the Saints at home over the Bucs to start the season.
I'm going the other way. I think the Bucs are going to be fired up. I think everyone's going to be excited to see the new offense. I think New Orleans is going to come in overconfident at home, and I don't think there'll be a home crowd. If there is, it'll be diminished. So I'm going to take the Bucs in this, and the Bucs are 1-0.
Next up, at home against the Carolina Panthers, it's a home opener for Tom Brady. I have this game as an easy win. I think this is one of the easier wins of the year. Give me Brady and the Bucs to get an easy win at home over Carolina.
I agree. I think Carolina is going to definitely take a step back this year. We're playing at home, so give me the Bucs.
Next up, on the road at the Denver Broncos, should be a great game as well. Tom Brady usually never plays well in Denver, so I think he gets past that, though. Give me the Bucs to get a win, a close one, on the road at Denver over the Broncos.
Typically, Brady, when he was on the Patriots, they would find some game on the road to lose. That would be a surprise. I think this is that surprise loss. I think they're going to lose at Denver.
I wouldn't call it a surprise either. Next up, not a primetime game. There will be the LA Chargers next. Give me the Bucs at home. It's going to be a first weekend in October, 1 o'clock game. It's a West Coast team coming east, so I'll take the Bucs at home to rebound. If they lose to Denver, I'll take the Bucs to get a win and improve to 3-1 on the season.
I agree. Scott and I have the same record so far, just a different loss in different spots. I think they're going to beat the Chargers at home.
And now the first primetime game of the season is it will be Thursday Night Football taking on either Trubisky or whichever Nick Foles, whichever quarterback they choose in that game against the Chicago Bears. I don't think it's going to matter. Give me Brady and the Bucs get a close win on Thursday night against the Bears.
I agree. I think on the road, on a Thursday night at Chicago, it's going to be a tough game, but I don't think Chicago can score enough to stay with the Bucs.
Next up, at home against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. I'm going to take the Bucs at home again. I think this is a very good Bucs team this year. I'm going to take the Bucs to get a win over Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
I agree. Packers, I think, are going to be one of the better teams in the NFL. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. I think Brady will be super motivated by being compared to Rodgers, and so I like the Bucs in this one.
Next up, the first Sunday night football game of the season, it will be the Bucs heading into Las Vegas to take on Chucky and the Raiders. Give me the Bucs at home over on the road in Las Vegas on Sunday night to get it done against John Gruden and the Raiders.
I agree. I think road games this year will not be quite as tough because there won't be the crowd noise. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Bucs to win at Las Vegas.
Next up, a Monday night game taking on Danny Dimes and the Giants, looking to get revenge after them coming in here and beating us last season. Give me the Bucs to get revenge after that loss last year. Give me the Bucs on the road in New York against the Giants.
I agree with Scott again. I think the Giants will give them a tough test at home, but I think the Bucs will win by 7 or less.
Back home on Sunday Night Football as we take on Drew Brees and the Saints. This is where I think we beat them. Give me the Bucs at home over the Saints.
And I'm actually going to reverse that. I think the Saints, after losing week 1, are going to come in and they're going to get a win in Tampa.
Next up, on the road at Carolina, it's going to be a little bit closer than it was at home, but I still think the Bucs will win this game by about 2 scores. Give me Tom Brady and the Bucs to get a win over Carolina in Charlotte against the Panthers.
I agree. Again, Carolina's not that good, so I think the Bucs get the win here.
Next up, at home against the LA Rams in Week 11, Monday Night Football. Give me the Bucs to get a win over a Rams team that I think will be in a rebuilding mode this year, so I'll take the Bucs at home over the Rams.
I agree with Scott again. I give you the Bucks against the Rams. West Coast team coming to the East Coast, and the Rams are just not as good as they were 2 years ago in the Super Bowl.
Even though it is in November, so that shouldn't really matter, but.
Not in terms of weather,
Yeah,
but in terms of
yeah.
travel.
Next up, at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Roger Goodell should have put this game on Thanksgiving. I would rather watch this than the stupid and Lions-Texans game on Thanksgiving. I'll take the Chiefs, though. I think Mahomes is just a little bit better than Brady, so I'll take the Chiefs to get it done in Raymond James against the Bucs.
I'm going to agree with Scott again on this one. I think it's going to be a close, high-scoring game, very entertaining game. But I think the Bucs will lose this one for the third loss of the season.
Next up, on the road at home against the Minnesota Vikings, I will take the Bucs at home to get it done over the Vikings on Sunday.
I agree. I think Minnesota, if it was on the road, I might take Minnesota in this one, but being the fact that it's at home, I'm going to take the Bucs.
Next up, on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. Like my dad said, there's always one loss on the road where nobody expects it. I think it's right here. Give me the Falcons to pull off a slight upset over the Bucs.
I think the Falcons are going to be much improved over what they did last year. I agree. I think the Falcons will get us on the road for, in my opinion, the Bucs' fourth loss of the year.
Next up, on the road at the Detroit Lions. Give me a win here. Matthew Stafford's probably going to be injured by this point. I'll take the Bucs over the Lions.
I agree. The Lions just can't put it together for an entire season. I think the Bucs get the win here.
Final game of the season. Could be for playoffs, could be for seeding, as we take on the Atlanta Falcons at home at Raymond James. Give me the Bucs to get a win and start off 2020 with a win.
And I agree. I think they're going to want revenge over the Atlanta Falcons. They're going to get the win at home. And under my record, they're going to go 12-4.
I think 13-3 for me. So.
Scott's got 13-3.
Yep. So now into the Pittsburgh Steelers predictions from my buddy Terry Jewell. First up, on the road at the New York Giants on Monday Night Football to start the season. Big Ben's back. Give me the Steelers to get a win over the Giants.
I agree. I think the Steelers are better than the Giants. The fact that Terry Jewell is my friend, and I know he likes to see the Steelers have a great season, I'm probably going to pick with my heart more than my head a lot here, but I'm going to pick the Steelers to beat the Giants.
Next up, at home against the Denver Broncos. Give me a win for the Steelers here at home over the Steelers. Over the Broncos, my bad.
Yeah, and I think the Steelers are going to beat the Broncos at home. I don't think Denver's a particularly good road team, so I like the Steelers to go 2-0.
Next up, taking on the Houston Texans at Heinz Field again. Give me the Steelers to start 3-0 and get a win over the Texans.
This will be a tough one. The Texans are a good team, but I think the fact that Pittsburgh's playing at home, they will go to 3-0.
Next up, taking on the Tennessee Titans on the road. There's their first loss of the season. Give me the Titans to pull off a slight upset over the Steelers.
I'm going to have to agree with Scott on this one. The Tennessee Titans look like the old Steelers, where they could just ground and pound you on the ground, and I think they're going to run the ball on Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh will go to 3-1.
Next up, taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Eagles. No, give me the Steelers at home over the Eagles.
I think you have obviously a rivalry game. You get two teams from Pennsylvania. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one as well.
Next up, Baker Mayfield and the Browns head into town to take on the Steelers. Give me the Steelers at home over the Browns.
Yeah, this is a rivalry game, obviously, but I think the Steelers will win this one. Again, only have one loss on the season.
Next up, heading into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. This is where the schedule gets a little tougher. I'm going to take the Ravens to get a home win over the Steelers.
I agree. I think Baltimore will be one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the NFL. I think it's going to be tough for the Steelers to win this one on the road, so I think the Steelers will get their second loss on the season.
Next up, on the road at Dallas. Give me the Cowboys to get a close home upset over the Steelers.
I think the Cowboys are overrated, just like they always have been, and other than their worst Super Bowl seasons. I'm going to take the Steelers to win this one on the road.
If that was in Pittsburgh, I probably would have taken the Steelers. Next up, at home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Give me the Steelers to get a win at Heinz Field over Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Burrow's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, but as a rookie, I just don't think that he'll have enough to get past the Steelers on this one.
Next up, on the road at Jacksonville. Last time the Steelers went to Jacksonville, I think they lost. So I'm going to take the Steelers to get a road win here over probably one of the worst teams in the NFL this year in Jacksonville. So I'll take the Steelers over the Jags.
I agree. I think Pittsburgh's going to beat the Jags on the road. I think the Jags just do not have the team they had a couple years ago.
Next up, as they take on the Baltimore Ravens at home this time, give me the Ravens again. Too much offense. Give me the Ravens over the Steelers.
I think the Steelers are going to have a revenge game here, and they're going to take the Ravens in a very close one for, again, they'll just have 2 losses on the season at this point.
Next up, going into at home taking on the now no-named Washington football team. I will take the Steelers to get a win over whatever team name they go with. I'll take the Steelers.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you call them. Washington's not going to be very good. Steelers get the win.
Next up, going into Buffalo to take on the Bills. That's a loss for me. I think Buffalo's going to be one of the best teams in the AFC this year. Give me Josh Allen and the Bills to get a home win over the Steelers.
I'm going to agree with Scott again. I think at Buffalo is going to be one of the toughest places to play this upcoming football season. So give me the Buffalo Bills.
Next up, on the road at Cincinnati. Give me a win over the Bengals again. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to be a great quarterback in his first year. He has the weapons. I just don't know if he'll be good enough to win games in his first year. So give me the Steelers over the Bengals.
Just like with the Bucks, typically most teams have one upset road loss. I think this is the one. I think the Steelers will get their 4th loss at Cincinnati.
Next up, at home against Philip Rivers and the Colts. Give me the Steelers at home over the Colts.
I think the Colts will be improved this year. I think they're going to give the Steelers a great game. I think the Steelers will win in a close one.
Next up, in my opinion, this will be for a playoff spot as they take on the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the Steelers at home on the road against the Browns.
Me too. I'm going to go with the Steelers against the Browns on the road. I think Baker Mayfield was a flash in the pan. I don't think he has the skills to be a top-level NFL quarterback, which gives me the Steelers a record of 12-4.
I'm going 10-6. I think this is a good season, though. I do have the Steelers making the playoffs, so 10-6.
So Terry and Joel, we both have the Steelers making the playoffs.
Yes. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Week in Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week with my Dolphins and Giants predictions for this season. And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Week in Sports. See you later, guys.
See you guys.